All right, well, Vision Sunday gives us the opportunity to pause and take stock and think about the year ahead, forecast a little bit about what might be coming. This is a communication exercise so that we might each know the direction we as a church are going and also know how to pray, serve, give and go forward in mission and ministry. Last year at this time we introduced the Vision 2020. Wasn't that a great idea, Vision 2020? We're going to be able to see so clearly going to what's coming. Oh, there you go. Now that said, we can actually be very, very thankful to God because so much of what we talked about back then, even with COVID, we've still been able to do it, albeit in very different ways. And gee, aren't we thankful for some amazing people who have made that possible for us electronically. The fundamentals have not changed. This year as a church, we've gathered to proclaim Christ as Jesus has asked us to do. We've served in mission and ministry from Lapston to Valley Heights and now in a whole new online world. Many of our ministries changed to adapt to COVID, yet we were still able to seek and connect and grow and send many, which is absolutely thrilling. So for this edition of LMAP Vision, I want us to highlight the Seek ministries. As a church, as we've just looked at the Great Commission, we should desire to be people who seek disciples for Jesus. As a church family, we should be looking out from ourselves, seeking to meet those that we study alongside and work alongside and socialise with and live with the concern and hope that they would come to know Jesus. So how we speak, how we live should present Christ to many. So our aim under God is to cultivate a culture which looks to engage and evangelise our community. And our community is growing all around us, especially the number of young couples and families that are moving into our area. We need to be bold now in our efforts to reach those new members that are moving into our neighbourhoods and what we do now will hopefully lay the foundation for mission for many generations to follow. Now, having said that, young couples and young families are a prevalent group that are moving into our area. We also should be a church that seeks all people, and a key focus in the coming years should be what we do to try and make sure we reach whoever we can get, or whoever we can seek out. That said, growing our kids and youth ministries and starting new ministries that will reach those moving into Warrimoo and Mount Riv and East Blaxland and Blaxland as they are currently doing in droves will be really, really important. If we dally, the demographic and generational change that is happening all around us will pass us by. It's in the next 7 years or so that those young families will move from being primary school age to high school age, and it'll be in the 7 years after that that they will move beyond that. Now, I know that's not an exact science, but the generational change is happening now. And we need to recognise also that our local mission field also includes our schools. There are many, the local businesses and cafes in each of the areas that we have around our neighbourhood. We have the RAF base at GLENBROOK. We have sports clubs and associations. We have the GLENBROOK RSL. We have the GLENBROOK Mark Days. We have the Rural Fire Brigade up in Mount Riverview and Valley Heights. We've got the fire station in GLENBROOK. There are plenty of different organisations, associations that make up our community. No one member of this church can reach all, and our ministry team cannot cover all. Yet as a church, together with as many members as what we have, we should have various different connections which may open some doors for us to serve and reach these communities. So I want to ask that you might join us together in making the most of these growing opportunities. Let's talk about our gatherings. Sunday gatherings are our most public front. They are the times when our neighbourhoods visibly see that we care about what we do, particularly as droves of people arrive and line up out the door, carrying their Bibles in hand. Do not underestimate the value of carrying your Bible into church for everybody that walks around and sees that. That's as much for their benefit as it is for you when you can open it here. They are the times when, the Sunday gatherings are the times when our most consistent teaching happens, given that so many get to hear the same Bible passage, the same word at the same time. COVID has meant that every gathering has had to adapt in some way, and I'm very, very thankful for the way that we have been able to do that. Coming out of COVID lockdown has meant that we now have 6 gatherings, 5 physical and 1 online. Very quickly, our Mount Reeve congregation moved to Blaxland for a time. Thank you for adapting. Exciting news is that from next Sunday, they're going to be able to go back to the Mount Reeve building. That is thrilling for them, and I know that will be welcome news. Blaxland moved back half an hour to 10:30. Thank you for adapting. We've been intentional in using the buildings at Blaxland for other additional ministries, including LMAP Youth for a while, for the Marriage Works course, for School of Ministry and more. And looking further, our parish council is in discussion about adapting that site, which will hopefully include adding facilities that will enable kids and family ministries. Let's talk about GLENBROOK. GLENBROOK morning congregation has become 2 congregations, 9 a.m. and 10:30. Thanks for adapting. I recognise that means that for those who are at the morning congregation, there are friends that are now at one gathering that you don't get to see except for that little crossover that happens. And just think how great morning tea will be when we're allowed to start morning tea again. Last year at this Vision Sunday, we flagged the intention of starting a new gathering sometime in 2021, sometime next year, but up in the Warrimoo or the East Blaxland or Mount Reeve area, that would hopefully reach those many young families who are moving in. COVID has meant that we've been able to start something sooner than planned, trying to make lemonade out of lemons. The feedback that we were getting through COVID was that it was especially hard for our families to do church online and that they missed kids' church. So in starting 2 new gatherings, both with kids' church, we gain the ability to grow kids' ministry, not just coming out of COVID, but now into the future, and to address a whole bunch of those other requests like, wouldn't it be good if we could have kids' talks in our gathering, which we couldn't because we didn't have room. So here is my appeal to the many families here today or maybe connecting with us online. We would like to see you back. Unless COVID keeps you away for a particular medical reason, please, we would like to see you back. At present, 9 a.m. caters best for those with younger kids and grandkids because it's the one that has a creche and minis and K-6 kids church. The gathering starts with a kids spot, so don't miss it by being late and come into the gathering. This is where we start. GLENBROOK 10:30 a.m, this one, caters best for those with older kids or grandkids, as it has also a full kids church, K-6, and it has crossfire for those school age 7 and 8. And this gathering also starts with a kids spot. Don't miss it by being late. I think I've said that twice. Maybe there's a reason why I've said that one. Don't miss it by being late. My tip and suggestion, both as a parent and as your pastor, prayerfully pick a gathering based on what caters for you and your family spiritually. Long term, you will benefit. And commit to that gathering. Please don't pick the gathering based on that which is most convenient or social. Long term, that will hurt. Thank you for being part of these gatherings. And if you're worried about numbers, because we look around and we think, oh, well, there's not as many as what we had when we were at 10 o'clock. Well, when you get what I show you in a little moment, you'll see that those numbers are now back with more, except that they're spread across 2 gatherings. Let's talk about evening church. Since returning from lockdown, our LMAP evening church has also moved to be a more youth-orientated gathering. It is thrilling to see the number of teenagers getting involved in our church life. The energy in the room is amazing. It's worth checking it out now that we don't have a 100 limit on our building. Who would have thought that watching online church would have become a thing in 2020? Thanks to our amazing technology team, we're able to do that. Under God, we've made lots of new connections through LMAP TV, and we are so grateful for the many who are joining us each week. Welcome to those who have joined us since COVID has has come along to us this year. Welcome to this new family. For the many who have to meet us online because you are COVID compromised, I know that can be frustrating. Hang in there. We want you to know that we are with you, and we want you to grow safely spiritually. Thank you for those who have let me know that you are online. It is very difficult to know. We know the number of computers that are there. Anything you can do to let us know that you are watching is really, really helpful. Thank you to the people who have got in touch. I had somebody a month ago that said, I'm just calling because I've been watching you since April and I became a Christian and I thought I should probably tell you that. And what should I do next? Welcome. It's been wonderful having so many join us online. Each of our gatherings, whilst feeding those in our church family, should be gatherings where Jesus is proclaimed and we do what we can to seek disciples for Jesus. Now let's recognise that the same is also true for many aspects of what we do as a church. We have lots of other ministries which aim to engage and evangelise our community, and in 2021 there is more coming. Have you got your phones? At home or in here, grab your phones. Up on the screen is a QR code. If you scan that, you will see our LMAP vision document. Last year we actually gave it out, but of course COVID doesn't allow us to give that out this year, so we put it together electronically. As you go to this document, you will find more details about what we've been able to do this year under God, what's planned for next year in the area of Seek, what our Christmas 2020 plans are. They are profiled there, and you'll hear more about that in the coming weeks. COVID has meant that we've had to be a bit more creative in working out how to do Christmas this year. Imagine singing carols. And you'll also read some of the longer term plans that our parish council has been working on concerning our locations and church planting. With each aspect, there are questions to consider and there are prayers to be prayed. So I would ask that you would take the time to read through this document and then commit what's there to prayer. That would be incredibly helpful, and I hope that you take advantage. It'll take you a little while, but not too much time. Let's briefly talk about the ministry team. We're thrilled to have Helen Brown and Luke Brush join us in our ministry team this year. None of us started 2020 expecting the year to turn out like what it has. In some respects, and I think our school teachers might relate to this, it feels like we're in term 5 of the year. It's been exhausting. We can be very thankful to this amazing group of ministers and to their families. They have put on an enormous effort this year, and I am so thankful I get to work by their side. And I'm also thankful to our church family, wherever we might represent from. I want to say thanks for all of the ways you have encouraged this team and prayed for us this year. We have needed it, and I'm so grateful that we're in the same team together. I'm very pleased to announce that next year our parish council have appointed 2 new student ministers, both who will be starting at Moore College. Dr. Trace Akankunda is joining us from Trinity Church Adelaide, where he's completing his MTS apprenticeship at the moment. And Mr. Jared Elijah Wood and his wife Erin and their 2 little girls are joining us from Moree Anglican. He's finishing up as a caseworker for the Department of Communities and Justice. Trace is going to be aligned to LMAP Evening Church, but he will also serve at Mount Riv and at Glenbrook in this congregation. Jared will be aligned to both Blaxland and Glenbrook at 9 a.m, and he'll take part in some other ministries across the year. I hope you'll be as pleased as I am that we are able to partner and train ministers to send in the years to come, and I hope that we will welcome them and care for them very well over the next couple of years. It's great that we have student ministers with us again. Finally, let's talk about finance and budget. Thank you to everyone who has given in any way this year. Somehow, under God, we are running line ball on budget, both with what is coming in and with what is being spent. I'm thankful to so many who have continued to give, even if that has meant you've had to reduce in some way given the employment pressures this year. Thank you for those who have stepped up in giving, and thank you for those who have started to give. We now have 160 giving units in our church. That is 160 families or individuals who are giving. That is up from 133 last year. Thank you so much for answering that call. Please keep giving to the gospel, both for LMAP ministry and for those causes beyond our parish. Now let's talk about next year's budget. COVID has made budgeting a little bit difficult. Our parish council took 4 months and drew up at least 4 drafts of the budget as we tried to work out what we thought would be a wise budget to put before you for next year. The hope of putting on a full-time ministry team member next year in order to help us with that church plan, we've put that off. We just don't really know what COVID is going to do for us economically, and we didn't think it would be wise to add that pressure. So we have delayed that or put that off for now. So we have maintained our giving to mission. In fact, it will go up if our giving goes up. We've added an amount to put on the 2 new student ministers we talked about. We've added 1 further day to increase the administry team so that we can take the admin load away from the current ministry team and hopefully develop our communications and website so that they'd be much more effective, given that the website is the the greatest way that people access what we do here at church. We've earmarked funds for mission advertising for Easter and Christmas. And last year we launched an LMAP growth fund. I'd like to ask you to consider giving another one-off gift towards the LMAP growth fund with the hope that we add another $30,000 to that fund so that in 2022 we might then have a seed fund in order to be able to put on that next full-time staff member. I hope you can see the logic of that one. We've got $30,000 in it now. If we add another $30,000, that means from the $60,000, it actually makes it a lot easier to put that full-time person on the year after. That will help us with that church, the next church plant. We'll continue to work hard to control the expenses and channel funds to those who need it. And this year it's been wonderful to be able to give funds to those who have needed it that we didn't know would need it at the beginning of the year. That budget that our parish council has accepted is an increase of 10% on the budget from this year. And our prayer is that those new to us, or those who are existing members of our parish who've not yet started giving, would consider that now is the time to regularly, electronically give. Now is the time to start. That would be really, really wonderful to have that as a new pattern. Under God, we seek to gather folk for Jesus from Lapston to Valley Heights and beyond, from infants to seniors, from all cultures and all professions. We need your prayerful and financial support to continue and for us to be able to increase what we do as we seek people for Jesus. So friends, that is the LMAP Vision Seek focus for the year to come. Talking about mission and ministry without lifting a finger would seem to defeat the purpose. How could you respond? I would like to ask you to grab your phones again. Please read through the online LMAP vision document that I referred to And at the end of that document, it will ask you to respond for 2021 in up to 4 ways: to pray, to serve, to give, and to go. This QR code, it's a different one, will take you to a confidential response form. Your response, preferably before Sunday the 8th of November, will help the ministry team and our parish council to know how committed you are to the mission and ministry of our church. And your response will help us to plan for 2021. We know that you are praying. We would like to know that you're with us in those prayers. We will know that you are willing to serve, and in what ways, and we need more people to step up to serve in various ways, and that response form will show you. We will know the direction of our finances, and we will know how many are going to serve the gospel further afield, which we want to be able to encourage. Friends, thanks for serving Jesus together at Lower Mountains Anglican. Thanks for being members of this church family. I'm looking forward to an exciting 2021 with whatever it is that God chooses to throw at us. And I'm really looking forward to continuing the partnership with you. There is our LMAP vision for 2021.